What should you actually do? If you're over 50, maybe over 55, or already in your 60s, and you have little to nothing saved for retirement, no 401k, no investments, no real plan. Because at this stage, you don't have time to get this wrong. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what you can do if you're starting late. If you're over 50, over 55, or already in your 60s with little or nothing saved. I'm going to give you 12 specific things you can do, or at least seriously consider, that can still change your financial trajectory from here. Not generic advice, real moves that actually matter now. So if this is something you're dealing with, or you know someone who is, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because this is one of those topics most people ignore until it becomes urgent. Now let's start with the first one. Recommendation number 1. You are not alone, and it is not too late. More people are in this situation than you think. People who worked for decades, paid their bills, raised families, and still arrived here with little saved. That's not failure. That's how life actually plays out for a lot of people. But here's the critical shift. Starting late does not mean starting from zero potential. It means you have to move differently from this point forward, because now every decision matters more. Which leads directly to recommendation number 2. Take inventory of your situation, not casually, precisely. You need to know how much income is coming in, how much is going out, and how many working years you realistically have left. Because if you're 60, you might still have 10 to 15 years of income ahead of you, and that is your opportunity window. Your most valuable asset right now is not money. It's your ability to generate income. That is your leverage. And everything from here starts with understanding exactly where you stand. Now we move to what actually changes your situation. Recommendation number 3. Know your numbers, not approximately. Exactly. You need to know where your money is going, how much is coming in, how much is going out, because if you don't know that, you're guessing. And you cannot fix a financial problem with guesswork. Call it a budget, call it a plan, call it whatever you want. But at its core, it's 2 things: knowing where your money goes and deciding where it should go instead, because you cannot control what you do not measure. Now, recommendation number 4. Do a 30-day spending audit. Track everything, every dollar, for the next 30 days. No shortcuts, no estimates. Because most people think they know their spending. They don't. And this is where awareness becomes real. When you see the numbers clearly, you start seeing opportunities, leaks, patterns, things you didn't notice before. And that leads directly to recommendation. Number 5, keep more of your own money. Because this is where everything shifts. It's not just about earning more, it's about keeping more of what you already earn. Imagine, just for a moment, if you could save 20%, 30%, even 50% of your income from this point forward, over the next 5 to 10 years, that becomes a meaningful amount of money. Not because of time, but because of retention. Because wealth is not built only by income, it's built by what stays. Now this is where most people get stuck, because they think the solution is small adjustments, cutting subscriptions, spending a little less here and there. That helps. But it doesn't change your trajectory fast enough. Not at this stage. Recommendation number 6. Get creative and think outside the box. Because the real acceleration doesn't come from small cuts. It comes from big structural changes. Let me give you a real example. A couple with almost no savings looked at their biggest expense, housing. Instead of trying to save a little more each month, they made one decision. They moved in with family, reduced their living costs dramatically, and were able to save nearly 70% of their income, not for 20 years, for just a few years. And that completely changed their situation. Here's another version of the same principle. A family finds a way to eliminate rent entirely. Living arrangement changes. Expenses drop to near zero. At the same time, income stays the same, or even increases. Now do the math. If you earn $4,000 a month And suddenly you can keep $2,500 to $3,000 of it. That's $30,000 a year saved. In 5 years, that's $150,000. That's not theory, that's math. And it only happens when you stop thinking in small adjustments and start making big decisions. Because at this stage, you don't need comfort, you need acceleration. Recommendation number 7, work longer. Not because you want to, because it gives you leverage. For decades, people treated 65 as the finish line. But that model doesn't hold anymore. Today, people are living longer, costs are higher, and retirement can last 20, 25, even 30 years. So stopping income at 65 often creates more pressure, not less. That's why for many people now, 70 is becoming the new 65, not as a rule, as a strategy. And this doesn't mean staying stuck in the same job. It means staying productive, generating income in some form, full-time, part-time, consulting, even small income streams. Because every extra year you earn does 3 things at once. You keep saving, you delay withdrawals, and you reduce the number of years your savings need to support you. That's not a small difference. That's leverage. Now, recommendation number 8, delay Social Security. If you can, because this is one of the few decisions that directly increases your guaranteed income. The longer you wait, the larger your monthly benefit becomes, through delayed credits and a stronger earnings history. Now think about that, a higher guaranteed check for the rest of your life. That's not growth, that's stability. And in today's environment, where uncertainty is higher, that stability becomes even more valuable, because at this stage, you're not just building wealth, you're building income you can rely on. Recommendation number 9, improve your physical and mental health. This is not optional. At this stage, this is financial strategy, because poor health is expensive. Doctor visits, medication, treatments, unexpected costs that can wipe out whatever progress you make. But there's another side to this. When your health improves, your capacity increases. More energy, more focus, more ability to work for longer. And that directly impacts your income window. Because if you can extend your ability to generate income by even 3 to 5 years, that alone can change your entire outcome. Now think about it like this. If you can earn an extra $30,000 per year for 5 more years, that's $150,000 from one decision, your body. And that's before you even consider lower medical costs, fewer disruptions, and more consistency in your income. That's not just health, that's leverage. And most people ignore it. They treat health as something separate from money. It's not. Your physical condition determines how long you can stay productive, and your mental condition determines the decisions you make under pressure. Because when stress hits, fatigue leads to bad decisions, and bad decisions are expensive. So this is not about perfection. It's about improvement, better habits, better routines, better energy. Because in this phase of life, your body is not just part of the equation, it is the engine behind everything else. Recommendation number 10, have faith, not as a concept, as a stabilizer. Because this phase can feel overwhelming. You look at your numbers, you look at your timeline, and it's easy to feel like you're too far behind. That's where most people break, not financially, mentally. They lose direction, they stop taking action. They start avoiding the problem instead of facing it, and once that happens, nothing improves. So faith in yourself, in your ability to change your situation, and in the fact that progress is still possible, is what keeps you moving forward, even when results are not immediate. Because at this stage, progress won't feel dramatic at first. It will feel small. More control, better decisions, fewer mistakes. And those small improvements stack over time. Now, recommendation number 11, never stop learning. Because today, access to financial tools has never been easier. You can invest from your phone. You can buy diversified funds instantly. You can start with very little. But access alone does not create results. Understanding does. You need to know how to use, 401k, IRA, Roth IRA. Catch-up contributions after age 50. Tax efficiency, basic allocation. Because at this stage, you don't have the advantage of time, so you need the advantage of precision, better decisions, fewer mistakes, and faster adjustments. Because every mistake now costs more, and every smart decision has a bigger impact. So you don't need to learn everything, but you do need to learn what matters and apply it quickly. Because knowledge, when applied, becomes leverage. Recommendation number 12. Don't overlook your home equity. Because for many people in this situation, your home is your largest asset, even if it doesn't feel like one. It's not producing income, it's not liquid, so it gets ignored. But that equity is still value. And in today's environment, with higher interest rates and tighter cash flow, using that value strategically matters even more. One option to consider is a reverse mortgage. More specifically, a home equity conversion mortgage. Now, this is not for everyone, and it should not be your first move. But if you're over 62 and you've built significant equity in your home, this can change your financial structure. Because instead of your home costing you money every month, it can start supporting your cash flow. In some cases, you can eliminate your mortgage payment entirely or convert part of your equity into income. Now think about what that does. If you remove a $1,500, $2,000, even $3,000 monthly payment, that's $18,000 to $36,000 per year. Freed up, without increasing your workload, without taking on market risk. That's not a small adjustment. That's a structural reset. But here's the critical part. This is a tool. And like any tool, it has trade-offs, fees, impact on your remaining equity, implications for inheritance. So this is something you evaluate carefully, compare options, and only use if it truly fits your situation. Because ignoring it completely means you might be sitting on one of your largest financial resources without ever using it. And at this stage, you don't have the luxury of leaving assets idle. You need everything working for you. So let's step back for a second. If you're 60 and you have little or nothing saved, this is not a comfortable situation, but it is still a workable one, because the problem is not that you started late. The real problem is continuing without a plan. Because from this point forward, every decision matters more. How much you keep, how long you work, how you structure your life, how you use the assets you already have, and how quickly you act. Because this is no longer about slow growth. It's about compressing time, making the right moves with intensity and consistency. Because even now, over the next 5, 10, 15 years, you can still build something meaningful, not by doing everything perfectly, but by doing the right things repeatedly. So the question is not, is it too late? The real question is, what am I going to do from here? Because that answer is what defines the outcome. If this breakdown helped you see a path forward, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'd like to hear from you. Which of these 12 steps hit you the most? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Check out the next videos on the channel right here.